settling your body.
Self-love practices, activating your body with nature. Your bare skin with nature activates your body, realigns your body. If there's pain in the body, nature is a provider to heal the pain, giving you clarity in your mind to feel better and to feel more balanced and aligned while stepping into your mastery.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the introduction of Royal StarSeeds. My name is Ali Light, and in this video I will be sharing with you the journey of my spiritual awakening and how I came to be in this beautiful group of women who have decided to come online and show our lives and behind the scenes of what do we do in our day-to-day lives, living our most fulfilling and thriving existence. For me, it's here in South Florida in Miami area. And so my journey began in 2010 when I started going to yoga. Okay, I don't have any early memories from my childhood as far as past lives, other existences, other planets, none of that. I had a pretty average to say childhood. I went to school, I did different workshops, swimming, dancing, arts. And then when I was 12 years old, my mom and I moved to United States. I am from Russia. And from 12 years old till about 22, I was just living the normal life, going to high school, going to college. I was married, and I was living the life, the projection of life that most people follow. And then at about 22 years old, I discovered yoga, and I signed up for a 30-day membership, and I ended up going every single day. And so to remember back, I believe that is when my body started having openings. And as I was stretching and opening the physical body, my mental awareness and spiritual awareness also began to come online. And then a few years down the road, I was moving to a different place and I was packing. And my mom had this mini library of spiritual and self-development books in Russian. And so one of the books that I picked up and I looked at that really caught my attention to translate into English is called The Journey of Souls by Michael Newton. And the book was in Russian. And so I went ahead and I ordered the book in English so that I can have an easier time digesting it. And when I was reading this book, it was like the full-on activation and remembrance of who I was and am beyond the physical body, and more on that soul, spirit, galactic awareness. And so after reading that book, I also got his other books, Destination of Souls and Life Between Lives. And it's basically an entire series of his studies of putting people under deep states of trance, accessing their subconscious memories that had nothing to do with the humans' lives at that point. And so over many years, he put together the studies and basically put pieces together that led him to understand that there is something else that are people remembering that is beyond their current lives. And so here is where I began my journey of asking questions. Who am I beyond the physical body? Okay. And one thing I know with the universe is when we begin to ask questions, answers come our way. Okay. And so after reading the book and going down a little bit of the rabbit hole, I spent about 2 years on Google just researching everything. And part of my journey also took me into the realms of wellness. My grandmother had cancer at the time, and I really wanted to understand the root cause of her illness. Whereas the Western medicine was putting her on a whole bunch of medications, as well as chemotherapy, which was very toxic on her system. She became really weak, she lost all her hair, and it was a pretty traumatic experience for my entire family. And so it really led me into learning more about how can we take care of ourselves holistically so that we can heal the roots of our illness rather than just patch up and like suppress the symptoms.
So at this time I've been really seeing and anchoring the divine masculine through the divine heavenly celestial kingdom. And we have a lot of goddess and feminine energy through all of the women supporting this show and project. So we're also being given the balance through the divine masculine and the king. And last night we pulled the king and queen card. And today I was shown this cup. You know, mind you, this is my first time in this home, so things will just gravitate towards you when they're for you and when they have representation for something that is divine. So we're calling in the divine balance of those who represent their divinity through king and queenship and their royal priesthood, and those who walk with their staff and are here to help support the growth of humanity. So, you know, what I was receiving about the divine star activations is like when we get to this first place, we'll be able to really set a key code. And it is kind of like a portal.
And so a key code is what, a portal?
Yeah, I would say it's like a portal, and it's a space that is given to us. It's shown to us.
Shown to us what, through our visualizations, because we're connected, because we've done so many meditations to be this connected.
Yeah, the way that I get shown personally is from being able to see through time and space over time, like over the inner work.
And you were able to do that through your own practices. You were like,
yeah, I was taught
wanting to figure out how to
inside.
master this creation.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it comes from the ability to disconnect from physical and tangible objects as like your 3D form and reality and mentality, and being able to understand that their Earth, the planet Earth, is actually a massive, beautiful ecological structure that we're forming, healing through our souls to be complete and whole.
Yeah, and it's all energy, right? You just have to remember that energy is alive and you can actually communicate with it, right?
Right, the energy is living and breathing, and it's always there. But there's also spiritual balances, and spirit is different than energy. So when we get really clear on the different realm of spirit, the spiritual plane and the energetic plane, which we'll get into, we'll talk all about that, then we actually can see through like the illusion that is being placed upon a lot of the minds of people.
The illusion. And when you say illusion, it's like another form of energy that kind of layers over our eyes or our experience. You're saying it's kind of like a matrix, right? Just like the movie The Matrix.
Like this mask is a creation of actually thought forms, vibrations, particles, and these wavelengths can influence the way that we see. I believe that they're stimulated from creation of our own will to either go towards God or towards this light form of God, or go and fall into what they call darkness. That's why they call this the darkness or the fall of man. You know, there's like
there's a bunch of different names, right?
For this time.
Yeah, it could be like a higher agenda, lower agenda, light frequencies, dark frequencies, spirit and source.
Right.
There's all these names.
Right. So,
right, but they kind of equal all the same thing, right?
To
a little bit.
Yeah,
right?
to some degree. And this is where the academy and the schools come in, the earth schools. Because,
that we're building.
Yeah, we're going to create these.
We've got these divine blueprints for you, humanity. We've been channeled blueprints to build some of the most immaculate things on the planet. We're talking about eco future driven amusement parks, villages, light cities, castles, king's courts, queen's courts, temples. Like, we are not joking around. It is divine, and it is happening now.
The way that it is shown is like we have been given a gift to see through the time that many people are experiencing through pain, suffering, and sorrow, so we can actually bring that vision into reality by believing it, seeing it, and taking the action steps through it.
All right, we're being guided to talk about from the early stages, if we remember coming to Earth, all the way up to my age now. So I'd say when I was younger, I'm not sure if I remembered coming to Earth, but now in this physical form, where I'm at now, all the practices that I've learned, I've had a lot of different mentors and guides who have done past life regression for me, who have assisted me in remembering my past lives. And through doing the practices that I have done and traveling around the world and studying with different ancient masters, I've gone through in massive amounts of transformation and shifting and shedding. And when you go through those levels of leveling up, you are able to pierce through different timelines. Like I could then jump into when I was younger and what was happening. Was there moments of bliss? Was there moments of trauma? And then I'm able to go into the trauma and heal the trauma. So through these practices, I learned more about myself. And so one time in a practice in India, it had showed me my time before arriving to Earth. And that time, this is what happened. It showed me as a being of energy, a very intelligent being of energy. And my being of energy had the opportunity to come down to Earth and to bring support and wisdom and love and balance creation out here on Earth. And it showed me that I was able to choose my mom to help support her or bring in some sort of experience to her that she was desiring. So I was what you would call a miracle baby. My mom wasn't able to have children. She had gone through some traumatizing times where abuse was in her life, and a man had done some abuseful things for her not to be able to have a child. And so she was really trying to have a child, going through different ways. I don't know what it's called when you go get those shots and then they try to put a baby in you. Yeah, it was an experience. Also, in this vision, it showed me that I signed a contract, basically like a blueprint, accepting this journey on Earth. And yeah, it also showed me that we've come here to forget, to then remember. And so here I am and my mom, and she is going through experiences. I would say she would be happy and then also have lower vibrational frequencies of worry and fear. My mom and my real dad, what I remember is the frequency of them together was not good. My dad would try to do things to create destruction, and my mom, I don't know, they were fighting, and yeah, my mom was running away a lot.
We found our paradise for our photo shoot day. We found all this beautiful organic clothes from India.
Ooh.
Come over here. Hey, your phone now.
Hi.
Oh, it's filmed, this is my little bumpkin. Camera. This is my little bumpkin. She came all the way from the jungle. She's been living in the jungle all these months, and she built her container house all on her own with her workers, with the machete. She's been carrying her machete, cutting through the jungle, and with the pick and the axe.
Es la verdad.
Yeah.
Sí.
So a warrior jungle
Te lo
goddess.
prometo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the most warrior jungle woman I know.
Yeah.
I hope to meet more soon.
Yeah, and now she's back. She's joining
Now I'm in Miami.
our Miami Day field trip.
Yeah.
Hey, beautiful ones. This is Rainbow G checking in, and today I have the beautiful blessing of my life story, the journey that has brought me here to this present moment. I left off in the time of my 25th year on earth, and as I continue my story now, I remember my 25th year. At my 25th year, I had freshly came out of my permaculture studies, a very glorious time where I found the magical secrets of nature and how nature regenerates itself and is a force that is self-perpetuating. It dies and then it is reborn. And as I learned about these beautiful cycles of natural law, I found myself in a state of discovery of my own cycles of death and also of rebirth. At 25, I was so full of hope and looking forward to a life of creation. At that time, I was fresh out of my permaculture trainings and also my eco-village design courses. I had completed a natural building course, which taught us how to work with the land and how to work with the earth and how to build bricks with mud and with hay and build houses out of natural materials. It was such an exciting time to have all of these new tools for communication and for also community governance and council, and the tools to embark on a journey towards a new beginning. And at that time, I moved forward with all of my heart, with all of my love, to begin a new life. That new life had to take a moment in time to be at a standstill before it can flourish into its fullest potential. In that moment, even though I had seen all of the most beautiful and majestic capacities and possibilities of living in a new earth, I was still in a reality that was reduced to an urban setting where I couldn't fully fulfill my dreams of living in that beautiful, fully raw nature connected to the elements, living regeneratively.
Hey.
Hey, so we are outside a new store in Miami. It's called ZL Europe. And we accidentally showed up here today because we thought we were doing a photo shoot next door. And it turns out that it's an entire wardrobe of beautiful goddess dresses. So we're going to see how that benefits you and your business, and also how we can show you some of the clothing that they have to offer. This is a welcome to my gypsy closet right here in the traveling trunk. We just got here, so we're just gonna find out what kind of magical experiences we can see.
My first 5 years on this planet started out in chaos. I was born in a very small town in Pennsylvania in Amish country where my hippie parents lived on a bus, which was a city bus that had been converted into their home. And it was the night before Halloween, and there was a huge storm that came and actually knocked out the electricity that ran to the bus. So when I arrived on this planet, it was about 4:20 in the morning. And not only was there a big storm, and I was being birthed on a bus that my parents lived on, and I had a midwife who came to help with the birth that had also delivered my brother and sister before me. And she actually wrote about the story of my birth in her book because it was significant. I came out of the womb with my umbilical cord wrapped around my neck. So I was literally coming out of the womb into darkness, into a storm, into the freezing cold of late October in Pennsylvania. And I was being choked by my own umbilical cord. So that was the entrance to this planet that I, as a child, never felt fully like I belonged. Like I was a little bit different. I was much taller than my brother and sister, even as a kid. Everyone was like, how did you get so tall? And I was also the youngest. I was the baby, and I felt left out a lot. I felt alone, and I felt like I just wasn't quite sure what I was doing here. As a kid too, as a small infant at about 4 days old, my sister, who was 4 years older, actually picked me up out of my crib or bassinet that was in the bus, and as a 4-year-old was carrying me around with, no neck support or anything, taking me down the road. And my mom woke up from a nap and kind of freaked out. And after that, my brother, who was sick, came over and he kissed me in the eye, and I got like this cold. I got this eye goop. And I was a pretty miserable baby. My mom said I didn't really talk to anyone except her until I was almost 3. And I think that, a rude awakening into the planet, along with some early traumas. I may have been dropped on my head as a child, and getting sick, having these kind of really early traumas. I was not a happy camper. But one day, as the story goes, I don't fully remember this, but my mother said that I came out of the bathroom just one random day singing "God Bless America" at the top of my lungs. And I believe that was my first spiritual awakening. I think at 3 years old, I either was a walk-in, where a walk-in concept is, you're the soul that came in the body can no longer stand the pressures or the experience on this planet. So they leave and another soul comes in to continue to carry out the mission of the soul. Or I had something that changed my perspective on life. And that happened at a really early age.
So she's giving a blessing to the juice right now. Simply because when you give blessings or give gratitude to something, it only enriches you.
Thank you, juice. Making my brain
body that are alive, that bring you deep clarity and beautiful experiences that transform you. Oh my gosh. Tastes amazing.
Hello, my name is Haley. You may end up knowing me by a different name eventually, but for now, you can call me Haley. So I'm going to tell you my story today, and let's start from the beginning. So my dad says that when my mother gave birth to me, that I came out smiling. He said it was the weirdest thing ever. And I feel like that's so fitting for who I am and my soul. And I truly intend to radiate kindness and goodness and love and harmony. And have always been a peacekeeper, even though I had my warrior moments and edginess and darkness. It's been at my core to come back to kindness and to spread smiles and assist other people in uplifting and feeling good within themselves and within their lives. So I was a really happy kid. I was always playing and adventuring, and you know, they say to, well, who's they, but there's a saying that says to look at your childhood to understand what your purpose is on the planet. So you look at, what did you like doing as a kid? How did you play? And that can direct you to what you should be doing in your adult life that would bring you great fulfillment. And what I was doing was shape-shifting. I liked to put myself into an animal's body, become an animal. How does the animal move? How do they think? How are they navigating these realms? Sometimes I'd be a wolf in the wolf pack. Sometimes I'd be a bird. Sometimes I'd shrink myself down to a little ant, and I would explore in all the tiny places that looked so big. It was so fascinating to me. So I was projecting myself through my mind, through my imagination, into this little world. And I was talking to imaginary friends and talking to the trees and the plants and giving them love, and I would always feel all the animals and plants so deeply. And I was very social. I was always a social butterfly. So in my adult life, I see that as shamanism. I was deeply connected to the realms, and now I've done medium work. I'm very connected to my guides. I utilize our guides, our spirit guides, in the work that I do in the world. And I'm always coming back to Mama Earth, Mama Gaia. How do we serve her? How do we ground down deeper? How do we honor our vessels as the reflection of Mother Earth, as we are the same? Our body is a reflection of the earth. Our blood and bones is of the earth. The mind is the air. The water is the emotion. And the fire is the passion. So when I think about some of my happiest times, oftentimes I go back to 5 years old. And so much bliss and awe of the world, and I was seeing ghosts back then. I remember certain beings that I would see, and I would tell my parents, and it was like so physical, but there was something different than than the people we were surrounded by, and it would freak my parents out. And since then, I've turned back on my gifts, and we'll go into that further into the story. So I'd say around 6 years old is when I started to experience a little bit of trauma with my sibling, and just him going through his experience and experiencing some bullying, and that being pretty heartbreaking. And then as we go into my younger years, 6 to 10, let's go back to 4th grade. In 4th grade or 3rd grade, actually, is when I started to experience bullying from other people. And I remember being so upset about it. And I would protect other people who would be picked on. And I would look for the people that would be picked on to make sure that they were taken care of, that they felt loved and befriended. And I remember this one time, there was this new girl joining our class, and before I even knew her, I wrote her a card. I used to love making cards. I made her a card to welcome her to her new class. I didn't want her to feel left out. I wanted to make sure that she felt welcome and cared for and befriended. And I ended up really liking this girl. So it was a pleasant experience, and it's just so sweet to look back at the innocence that was held there as a child. And yeah,